The San Diego Padres were lying to us all. It turns out it was not just waking up funny for Michael King. There's some shoulder issues there we've got to talk about. Their absolute betrayal of us as a fan base. I say somewhat sarcastically, but hey, listen, this is some big news. So let's get to all of what it means for the San Diego Padres. What's going on, everybody? I'm Christian Pedersen, back with another episode of Padres Digest. This is part of the show where I try in one breath to introduce the show myself, say, can you hit subscribe, and then go back to talking some baseball. Look, here's the truth. Is that baseball teams are under no obligation to tell everybody every single little teeny detail. But I think at the same time, you as a fan base don't want to be misled. So when the Padres tell you initially, the word is going around that, oh, he just kind of slept funny on his shoulder, he's just missing the start, that now turns into he's got shoulder issues, gonna move to the IL type of vibes. I don't love it, but it's where we're at. The San Diego Padres have had a really tough stretch the last 8, 10, 12 games, kind of depending on when you are watching this, and this doesn't help in any way, shape, and form. It also doesn't help to be now feeling like the totality of, we've got Darvish still recovering from his elbow issues. You'll be reminded of this quote of them saying he has some residual side effects. We did a whole video on this, so I'm not going to tangent too far into the Yu Darvish thing, but I'm saying if we've got you on the shellfish kind of thing right now, not that he's eating lobster, he is on the shelf-ish. But if we've got that going on, what can you trust now if King's going to also have his injury status kind of clouded? And this might be completely nonsensical for me to say, but this, for at least my fandom, makes me more worried about the Darvish thing also, and makes me now kind of collectively looking at what is still a good starting rotation, but it has been flickering between good and great because King has emerged as a part of this. Cease had a slow start. Pivetta has been pretty consistently good strike thrower and good numbers for them, but the 4 and the 5 took a little bit. We like Kolek, we like Vasquez. They are headed in the right direction, but I think they're figuring out that they're 4 and 5 guys. So ultimately, you wanted Yu Darvish back. We can talk about also Joe Musgrove. I've got a full video breaking down his return, but just a reminder, this is where he's at as of 5 days before us recording this video. Nothing will have changed in those 5 days, but he is not really part of the conversation for like any substantive amount of this. So I'm not saying that his injury status, I'd also be like, oh my gosh, he's not going to be XL 2027, but what I'm saying is that the totality of the Padres pitching rotation is in a really finite razor's edge kind of thing, it feels like, where I want to bring Kyle Hart back, and it sounds like Kyle Hart is going to be the solution for the Padres initially just to fill it. They're doing some shenanigans on moving Kolek and Pivetta, and they're going to kind of reorganize it to try and minimize. King on all of this stretch should only miss a start or two, hypothetically, amongst the timing of all this, but Hart is not that solution. I love him. He will be great at times. He will be bad at times. He's a lefty. It's fun. I think he ticks over into the bullpen for me in the postseason, like perfect putting together of all this. So that's not a guy you want replacing your ace. And that kind of worries me when we're already as a team talking about needing a left fielder, talking about needing an offensive upgrade, either a catcher or a DH, where like there's other pressing needs. And now to be like, well, do we have to worry about the Padres never really being serious with how inconsistent or injured or whatever the detail is about Michael King going forward? Because if he's missing 15 days, he gets it all straightened out. It was just a weird little King. All this happens every year. 2 guys eventually. Okay, great. Call me an idiot. All of you are very confident about doing that in the comment section. So I look forward to having egg on my face over this one. But it does just make me kind of vaguely worried that we are now trying to fill too many gaps and holes in a team that does not have enough assets to go out and get quality versions of players to fill all those gaps and holes. And I know that not every team, every single year has all of that, but it's just to be in a situation where we are really asset poor in terms of international, deliverable, homegrown, any version of prospects or projects in the minor leagues. And no one's going to take Xander. So we're in just this really weird position where if there ends up being too many holes to fill, I think the Padres could be in trouble. Maybe not serious trouble, but I'll call it at least in trouble, if not bordering on to serious trouble. And that doesn't help when the Padres fandom, already nervous as heck about all of this, has to deal with a franchise that, like I said, initially kind of lied to us. Let me know, though, what you think, because beyond those two, obviously, there are impacts into the bullpen. Alec Jacob has been moved. So the Padres, there is change and turmoil. They're getting through all of the minor league arms. It feels like this part of the season, you always got to have call-ups, you always got to have guys, and I'm not getting the sense that there are immediately any more answers left in the minor leagues, and that we need to, just put some feelers out. I actually got a video that you can go check out on the timeline about the Marlins and Sandy Alcantara, and not that that's a one-to-one fix, because he's a project that Ruben Niebla would have to rehab a little bit. I think that though there are some options that the Padres just it doesn't cost you anything to hit up a team and be like, what is the situation that would need to happen for this guy to be in conversation with us? There are rumors and public acknowledgments going around of pitching or of hitting trade talks and offensive upgrades and left fielder options, but I want to hear about the Padres also at least kicking the tires and taking some flyers on a couple of guys. Just give me some emotional relief to hear that you as a team are at least interested in adding arms, not even in dishing and getting rid of people. I don't want to. This is not a trade cease conversation or anything like that. This is just I want to go forward confidently and hear from the Padres that they are interested in adding arms at the deadline, because worst case scenario, you just move someone to the bullpen. Stephen Cole will happily go to the bullpen. I don't know him, but I'm sure he would. Let me know, though, what you think about whether or not this is something that we should even be stressed about the trickle down of, do you think that this now needs Padres to focus on getting some pitching, closing in on the deadline? Let me know just in general your thoughts on the Padres season. Sometimes it is just fun to all vent and get through this together. And as always, if you could hit the subscribe button, it would be much appreciated. Thank you, everybody, for checking in again. And remember, even with the bad news, even with the losses, at some point we're going to bottom out and the season's going to end on a high note. So it keeps on getting better every day. Padres fans, keep the faith. 2025, we're hanging in there. It's going to be a good one. Michael King's going to come back, and I'm going to be way wrong, and we are going to ride off into the sunset. We'll talk to you next time.